This time for, okay. Like I said, I want to get a little background.
This.
So you started off in the Marines, and you were doing CrossFit before then.
Yeah. So I started off in the Marines. Well, if we backtrack all the way, I started weight training when I was like 14. Just preparing to go into the Marine Corps. Was just doing your average bro stuff, bench press, pull-ups, all that kind of shit. Then got into the Marine Corps. Was still doing that with more running based also into it. Then I had a team leader ask me if I did CrossFit at all. So transitioned into doing more CrossFit style workouts with a heavy strength base.
Okay.
Did that for a good year and a half, and then we went on deployment. Wasn't able to do both of them at the same time after deployment, so just stuck to weightlifting after that.
Okay. Let's backtrack real quick. You started weightlifting, so normal gym training at 14. How did you get into that? Like, were you reading magazines, books? What got you actually started in weight training?
So I had a buddy, Graham, and him and I would go to the YMCA. He was a lot older than me. He was probably, 6 years older than me, I think. So,
really?
Yeah, we would go to the YMCA and we would just do a bench pyramid, starting off at like 10-pound plates and going up as high as you can, decreasing from like 10 reps all the way until 1 rep, and then just work your way back down.
Okay.
So we did a bunch of that, and then just your normal bodybuilding kind of training and stuff.
And how many years did you do that for then? All the way till you joined the military?
Yeah, until I joined the Marine Corps. Did that, not really that style of weight training while I was in the Marine Corps at all. I mainly transitioned into, I don't know, for the first 6 months or so, it was still that kind of training, but then it transitioned into, like, I started reading Starting Strength, all those kind of books and stuff, and actually had somewhat of an idea of what I was doing.
All right. Now, a lot of what we're going to talk today is I want to talk to you about the injuries you've been through. Did you get injured any time during your military career, during the Marines?
Yeah, I had plenty of injuries. I don't know what happened to this shoulder, but during a grappling workout, or not grappling workout, but like we were grappling just in like in the barracks
training
area
session.
And stuff. Yeah. And fucked up this shoulder somehow. The whole arm went numb and everything. Couldn't lift my arm at all. It was super painful for a couple weeks, but then it got better and now it just clicks a bunch. Then, I mean, the main first injury that I had was completely destroying my wrist and tearing all the ligaments that hold that together.
All right. Now, there's more to that story. What did you do to fuck up your wrist that bad?
So, at the time I was with Wilmington Weightlifting Club, we had my buddy Chris and I, we were just being bros, being idiots, going back and forth on a completely stupid accessory work called a jerk dip drive, where you just go into the drive of the dip for the jerk, and we loaded it up with 190, 200 kilos, and I blacked out and completely fell backwards, smashed my elbow into the ground, and the whole entire 200 kilos just smashed right into the wrist and completely separated the lunate bone. So that bone was completely just floating around in my wrist. Ow. So that was a good time. Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
Fuck. What would that be? That was 2015.
Okay.
And I continued to train on it for...
This was just out of the Marines then?
No, I was still in the Marine Corps.
You're still in the Marines?
Yeah, I didn't get out of the Marine Corps until mid-2016.
Okay.
So 2015, continued to train on a wrist that was completely fucked up for about 6 months, and then got surgery on it. And then just started a very long process of trying to come back from that surgery and get up to weights that I could actually do before surgery.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was a good time.
Now, leading from that, where did you go into training then? You were still doing weightlifting during that time period?
Yeah, so after the injury, I just laid off the wrist, so I didn't go overhead very much at all for a long, long time. For probably 2 months, I didn't go overhead, and then I started putting weights overhead. I actually got up to weights that I was handling before I completely destroyed the wrist bone. Like a week before I had surgery, I hit a PR snatch at the time of like 132 kilos.
Okay.
So snatch was what was most painful with the wrist. Still is most painful. Clean and jerk. I still could clean and jerk, 157 on a bad wrist, so.
Wasn't bad then.
Oh, it was bad. Like the lunate was completely separated and stuff. There was nothing holding that together, but you just put a wrist wrap on it and you're good to go. Wrist wrap, a bunch of ibuprofen.
You don't notice it then as much.
Yeah, and still, I mean, you're crying when you're doing the lift, but
Now, when did you start coming to Rubber City then? When did you find Dan and start training with him?
So I got out of the Marine Corps and I was training at the rec, at the Kent State rec for, I don't know, I put a post on Instagram. I was like, I wish I could find a weightlifting gym. And some friends of mine from Instagram, people I've known and stuff, they said check out Rubber City. So that was in August of 2016. I checked it out. I had too much of an ego on my plate at the time, so I wanted to do my own program that I had in my head and stuff. And I stuck with a different gym. I went to a CrossFit gym for a while and did like a MASH program that buddy had for me.
Okay.
So I did that, and then December time frame, I cleaned 172, and Josiah hit me up after that. I was like, dude, you should come train at Rubber City. So I came, checked it out, and unfortunately, just with the timing stuff, I fucked up my back. So then...
Hold on. What'd you do to mess up your back?
I was just more of a chronic issue of poor stability overhead. And so, like, the intervertebral discs were being crushed just because of the muscles that the agonist and antagonist of the muscles that pull up on the discs actually were completely out of balance. So it was just crushing down on the discs and pinching the nerves that were right around there.
What'd you do to correct that then? Did you go to physical therapy or?
Yeah, I went. So again, going through the VA, it takes a while, but went and saw a physical therapist in the VA, and he had me do some just random stuff, working with cables and light overhead movements, very light stuff. But honestly, like, just putting weight overhead is what really made it feel better, actually. Like, making sure my movement was sound overhead, and then sticking with lighter weights, but still progressing to have, like, jerk movements overhead.
Okay.
That's
how long did it take you to recover from that, or get to where you were feeling okay overhead again?
That was about 3 to 5 months.
Okay.
I mean, it takes a while when your muscles are like completely crushing down on a disc. Like, you have to be able to actually build that muscle back up.
Yeah.
And so that took some time.
What was your next step then after that? So you weren't with Rubber City yet,
or
were you?
So yeah, that 3 months I was in and out. I would come in like once a month or so. I was still like a part of Rubber City, but I wasn't there ever.
Okay.
So once we came back from that, then in say April, May time frame of 2017, I think.
Okay.
I think it was 17, yeah. Then I joined the club completely. Dan took over programming everything for me, and it was going good for a good while. Probably 8 months or so. And then we separated the AC joint doing snowboarding. So
now no, don't just gloss over it. This one's an in-depth story. Let's go into how you separated your AC joint snowboarding.
Okay, so I was visiting my brother, which that's actually the year before when I hurt my back. Like, my back was starting to mess up. Then I went and visited my brother. We went snowboarding stuff, and then I came back and my back was all screwy. So then the following year, I go back to visit my brother, go snowboarding. And so I'm going down the mountain. Mammoth Mountain's a big snowboarding park out in California, Northern California. And hit a jump and hit that jump way too fast. It's super icy out, so like when you're snowboarding, if it's icy out, like you go a lot faster. Did not check my speed going to that jump at all. Overshot the landing ramp completely by a good 10 feet. I was also about 10 feet up in the air, and my head just went completely down, and the snowboard went up, my feet went over my head and stuff, and yeah, my shoulder came on the ground first, and that thing just snapped off.
I wish we had the x-rays, because it's complete separation. It's not even going to come back.
No, I mean, not whatsoever. If you like feel around, like the back part completely sticks out. I don't know if the front part might have like one ligament holding it on still. Maybe. Probably not though.
And this was back in January you had that happen. How long? Because I don't remember you coming back and saying it hurt a whole lot. Or did it?
So yeah, so my brother actually did the same thing. Not nearly as bad. But he was telling me like, yeah, it hurts like hell for the first week or two. But after that, like, you just try and work through range of motion, try and gain as much range of motion, and then that's exactly what I did. Like, as soon as I could put my hand overhead, I was trying to lift weights again.
Okay.
Just sticking with a lot of accessory movements, rehab movements, just working the shoulder girdle as much as possible.
Okay. How long did it take you to get back to that point to where you were comfortable overhead? Because I mean, like you said, you didn't really stop, and I remember seeing you come back really, really quickly from it. But to get to the point where you actually felt pretty solid overhead again, did it feel like it took a while?
Honestly, no. I mean, I was down in the dumps when it first happened because I thought like this is a career-ending injury here. I didn't know how to come back from it. I didn't really know of any other weightlifters that have dealt with a completely separated AC joint, so it was like fuck. But once I got back in the gym, well, probably 2 weeks after the injury, started moving, and a month after the injury, I think I was putting 100 kilos overhead already. So
okay.
Yeah, then we just progressed throughout that, and I may have come back a bit too soon from that one just because I injured my quad, so had to take it easy for that bit too, then after that.
So there's a takeaway to keep working through it and eventually it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, don't rush the movement whatsoever. Like, don't rush coming back from injury. Like, just listen to your body and don't try and get back on the platform before you're actually ready.
And all this is still building towards, when did you peak for that clean then? Because you took a 400-pound clean.
Yeah, I mean, that was just kind of random, actually.
You guys didn't peak for that at all? You just randomly decided to max out on cleans?
Yeah, I mean, we did the 180 in June. Yeah, June time frame. And then I was like, I want to hit 190. So that was the goal in mind. But I mean, we weren't peaking for it. We weren't training cleans at all. It was just, it came along that we were training deadlifts, and I hit a 600-pound deadlift. And then a few weeks later, we were like, hey, might as well go for a 190 clean. Didn't get the 190 clean, but we got the 400 clean. So
that's, I mean, like the way Justin put it, it's still one of the most athletic feats that we've had happen in the gym. So it's still impressive as hell. And that's with your broken wrist, jacked up shoulder. How was the quad feeling better at that time?
Oh yeah, the quad is completely back to normal. It was just like a 2-month time frame, maybe 2.5 months.
Get it feeling good again.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been training with Dan then explicitly?
He actually asked me that yesterday. I was looking back through Instagram to figure that out. So it's been about 1.5 years, like, since he's done every bit of programming and I've been here completely. But like, I came in that December, so December of 2016 is when I officially joined the club.
Okay. So roughly 1.5 years then of just strictly following him, and almost 2 years of being with the club itself then?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. What's been probably your favorite part with Dan then? Where have you seen the most growth or the most help come from?
I mean, like, he knows how to get you to the top already, so it's just a matter of actually listening to him, making sure you keep your ego in check, not getting a big head about anything. Like, the main thing in this sport is just staying humble and grinding for a good 10 years or so. Then you'll actually, if you have some amount of athletic potential, you'll be near the top at least. So, I mean, like, he knows how to get you there. You just have to actually listen and not have an ego about you, pretty much.
Just do what you need to do and then get in, get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've had lifters come through here and stuff, and some of them aren't able to do that, so they come out. So, I mean, that's something you have to remind yourself every single day, is just like, there are a good 100 weightlifters in the United States and a good 1,000 weightlifters internationally, maybe more, that are better than you. So you aren't shit no matter what.
Because I know you're building towards the AO now, because you're qualified for that from the state meet, which you did really, really great in.
Yeah, it went all right.
Well, okay, hold on. We got to look at this from, because we're used to, in the club, we're used to seeing you do, you know, the bend clean, where you get it up on one shoulder and then you pop your other hand right back underneath it.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And then during that meet, with the other people that were in the club that were there, you know, the whole crowd went silent, thought you were going to miss it, and then you pop underneath it and you still get it overhead.
Yeah, that was completely like adrenaline rush, just completely having the club behind me, just cheering and rooting. And I could hear them behind me as I was trying to reset that clean and get my other hand underneath there. So, like, as soon as I missed that hand and was standing up with the clean, like, everybody was silent. Then I got it back on, like, I got the actual hand back on, the bad wrist hand back on the actual bar, and everybody just erupted. And I could hear them behind me. Like, normally I can't hear anything when I go for a lift, but somehow I heard them behind me. And that kind of motivated me. So, like, I knew I had to get that jerk, which I've never put 175 overhead before, so I was like, fuck, I gotta get this. I got it somehow.
That's awesome. Where are you planning to go in the future from here then? What's your next step that you're looking towards?
I mean, we have the AO finals, so that would just be to try and get a 320 total there, or somewhere around there. Qualify for nationals and get a 320 total. That would be the goal for AO finals. Then we have 6 months to prepare for nationals, and nationals, I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, right now I'm top 10 in my weight class, but I would like to be much higher than that. I would be like to be top 10 within the United States of all the weight classes within the male category, but I don't know how long that's going to take.
Okay. But that for right now is what you're looking towards,
Yeah.
training wise. AO first, nationals, and then
build off of there.
higher standings.
Yeah.
which isn't bad, and it's going to be awesome to watch you keep moving from here on forth because you're awesome to watch in the club. And I didn't realize like how much you've been through injury wise before this. So sitting down and talking more, it's like holy crap. They're really, I mean, you're a dedicated, hardworking athlete, and it's awesome watching you in the club.
Well, thank you.
So it's going to be awesome watching you go forth. And thanks for coming in and talking with me today about this.
Yeah,
okay?
no problem.
Thank you a lot.
All right.